Even though the game is known to take place in the advance between SMT 1 and 2, having played SMT 1 myself, I don't think you really need to play SMT 1 to understand this game at all. Surely, if you want some fan service, go for it. But then you have to read the manga too if you want to get every reference this game made. Good luck finding the manga as it has already been out of print for a long time. And if you happen to find one, please tell me cause I want to read it too. Consider this game like a what if of Shin Megami Tensei universe. That said, you still need to know a little bit of SMT1 actually in order to understand the period where the game is set in. So, like spoilers ahead. The events in this game take place right after the bomb was dropped in Tokyo in SMT1. And then there is like some time gap before the SMT1 protagonist wakes up and the second half of the game begins. That 30-year time interval in between is where this game starts, right after the Great Catastrophe hits Tokyo essentially. Now let's make a brief explanation about the wall building. See, before the bomb was dropped, there lived people who built shelters to go hiding before the events happened, and then the bomb was dropped, right? After the Great Catastrophe, those who survived start to seek protection by searching the shelters around Japan, which you will visit most of them throughout this game. The survivors who were allowed inside the shelters became to known as shelter people, and those who got rejected were just left to wander on the devil-infested wasteland endlessly. So you can already see bad blood going on between these two groups. But the sheltered people's lives in underground is not all that good either. There is a hierarchy system in the shelter decided by ranks. The highest ranks are called elites, and they are the people who build the shelters. The lowest ranks are called commoners, who mainly exist to work for the shelter's longevity. This shelter hierarchy thing, although interesting, you can only see this in the first shelter, where the gold chunk of the game took place in. Every other shelters after this doesn't seem to have this system anymore, which is a shame because I want to learn more about the system. There are two main armed organizations. One is Devil Besta, made by shelter people, and other being the Resistance, aka Pentagramma, made by people above the ground. Not to mention, there are also religious cults just like any other Megaten games that plays a huge role in story. This game has 3 routes and 9 endings, and in this video, I'll be covering one of the 3 routes and one of the 9 endings. So here's what I want to say about games with multiple endings. Truth be told, I don't really like playing games with multiple endings multiple times. One proper ending is good enough for me. Of course, I will play again if I got a bad ending, but as long as I am satisfied with the ending, that's all it matters to me. If I get my best gear ending, I'm content with it. I hope everything I said earlier gave you a brief understanding of the war. You need to know at least those terminologies or else you are just gonna get lost in the sea of informations I'm going to give you very soon. Like right now actually. Giten Megami Tensei was released on PC 98 and Windows PC in 1999 by SK and not Atlus. But I am playing PC 98 version for reasons which I will be addressing later in the videos. But just keep in mind that it was so much of a pain in the ass to get old games run properly on modern PC. Although this video will be heavily censored, so I want to apologize in advance if these black lines disturb your watch experience. Coming from Devil Summoner straight to Giten is such an eye-opener. Playing these games remind me of 90s Japanese anime like Silent Mobius, Kujaku-o, Demon City Shinjuku, Urosuki Doji, and oh boy, do I have a lot to talk about this game. This video is going to be a long one because despite the game getting a bad rep for poor gameplay aspect, which I agree fully, the story and the war though is a different story, and I played this game with that sole intent of curiosity to see what this game had to offer, and I wasn't disappointed at all. So with that, I present you Giten Megami Tensei Tokyo Mogushiroku. Start the game and you are greeted with a computer screen. You are applying for the test to become a Devil Buster. First is personality test. Answer what you want freely, as this part of test gives you neither points nor penalty for answering the wrong one. But depending on the answer you give, your character will get one of these 4 types: attack, shoot, magic, and computer. The magic type is the best and the most useful one out of these 4 types, but I got the attack type, which is garbage. You learn different title abilities with bunch of cool names instead of magic, but you do less damage than your normal sword attacks, so they are entirely pointless to use in fights. PC98 version of Giten Megami Tensei uses number pads and a mouse to move, which could be a bit difficult to get used to the controls, but you will get used to it as you play. After you talk around a bit, you will soon find out everyone's cheering for you to become a devil buster. It is kind of like a job that everyone dreams of, even the kids, and their parents too. What kind of parents in the right mind get so happy if their child wants to become a devil buster? You know, a job where guys use swords and guns to kill devils. The way you progress the story in this game is by repetitively speaking to a set of characters and resting back at your room. Keep doing that until something happens, and that's what you'll basically be doing the first half of the game before the game opens up completely, and that's where the game will stop holding your hand and drop you straight into this unfriendly and harsh world, both to the protagonist and you, the gamer. This is where the real shit starts. Back at your room, you will be notified that your application is accepted, and now you need to take an actual test tomorrow. The test consists of two parts, written and beta test. First one is a written test, and it is divided into 4 sections. Classification of Devil, Anti-Devil Tactics Magic Edition, Anti-Devil Tactics Physical Attack Edition, Devil Conversation Tactics. And then there is beta test, in which you will be paired with a partner to explore the dungeon via virtual training machine. In case you die during the test, you will have to keep retrying again and again until you complete the training. Although a lot of points will be deducted, so try not to die if you want to pass the test on the first playthrough. If you reach a starting point in the dungeon, you will meet with Amy, who is here to fight the program itself as it has been going haywire for some reason, and she's here to fix it together with her boyfriend Tatsuya. Both of them will join the party, so let's go beat the boss of this dungeon, a poison dragon. Attack for one turn and you will get interrupted by Nishino and Yamase. They will then join the party and enter the boss room again, and the game opening credits rolls. After the credits, each people will start introducing themselves to you. First is Tachibana Yuka, a classic blonde heroine who also happened to be the love interest of the protagonist Kazuragi Ayato. She's an elite, but she left home and decided to become a devil buster because of her father, who left her mother and married another woman who was already carrying his child by the time he divorced her mother. She seems to hate the man with passion. Interestingly enough, in this shelter there exists a rule where you can only have one wife and one child per family to save food resources, which of course are all exceptions to elites, in this case Yuka's father. In contrast to the master family circumstances of Tachibana Yuka, Nishino Yoshio, the leader of Devil Buster Division 2, who has been indebted to Ayato's father forever, and Ayato to him, as he has been taking care of Ayato since he was a child. You can even say Nishino is like a father figure to him. After all these years, they still think of Ayato as one of their family despite having a child of their own, Chita. Not to mention, he also have beautiful and lovely Yoko as his wife. He had it all, man. I'm telling you, what a wonderful family. Yamase Isamu, a gun specialist who is just plain annoying and unreliable looking guy. He don't look like someone who can be trusted either, judging by the first impression of his way of speech and character design anyway. He gave off the vibe of those witty and cynical character tropes you can find in most survival anime. Hayasaka Tatsuya and Kirishima Emi, these two are inseparable lovebirds, so much so that I got to put these two names side by side to talk about them. Tatsuya is a commoner, a master brain fighting specialist who seems like a childhood friend of Ayato. Emi is a mechanic and an elite just like Yuka. Not very sure why she wants to become a devil buster, but I'm guessing it is because of Tatsuya. But hey, she got a robotic dog called Newton, so I will give points for that. These are some of the characters you will be together with, sort of, for a good chunk of the game, so be sure to remember them. After that, the examiner will tell you the test is over and you will be ordered to stand by in the reading room with other applicants along with Yuka. There you will have a close conversation with Yuka with her full face slapped onto the screen. which I can't help but love it. It makes you feel like you are literally talking with a person face to face right at that moment. She's unsure if she will pass the test or not, so you gotta believe her that everything's going to be fine, although I'm not even sure of myself. It's like those moments back in your school days where girl will always say things like they didn't do well in the test and get like one mistake and they will cry their ass off just because they didn't get a perfect score. And then there's me who barely even passed the test trying to relieve them. An Asian student life, am I right? Then an announcement happened, calling all the applicants in order one by one, and finally you got. Now you are all alone by yourself in the waiting room. And all of a sudden, you hear an explosion beyond the door, so you are given a choice to obey the order and remain in this room, or disobey the order and go check what happened. I chose to go check, so as soon as I left the room, an old man came running to me and said the sound came from the armory. And then he tells me to go check by myself because he has a wife and a child. Like it has anything to do with me. Seriously, what an irresponsible adult. Inside, a guy with a knife is holding a hostage, so you need to search the surrounding for a bit to understand the situation better. And then you will find a guy who looks like he's quite dead and a gun lying near him. So you need to disrupt the bad guy by striking a conversation with him while you approach the gun. As soon as you try and grab the gun and shoot at him, a voice will order you to stop. Then a guy who was supposed to be dead will stand up and says, "You have passed the test." Apparently, this test is all set up from the beginning to test my decision-making skills. After a long, exhausting day of series of tests left and right, go visit each character's room again, and you will see Yuka getting all happy and shit, eager to tell you about how she got randomly attacked by devils, only to find out they were all holographic images in the end, and that she passed the test just like you. I honestly love how she tried to explain her story with great passion. Isn't she the cutest thing? Now you can try to explore the first shelter freely. Here are some places that you should know when exploring the first shelter. On the 7th floor, you have hospital together with its own morgue. On the 6th floor, you have food storage where you can find Hayasaka's dead. There is a farm where synthetic foods is made for commoners and organic foods for elites. There is a dining hall for both elites and commoners, separated of course, and you can find Hayasaka monks too. Finally, there is an item shop where you can buy Meito Higo no Kami for throwing it into specific fountains you find in dungeons and get a stronger sword in return, which is a mechanic in this game and you can only get a really strong sword this way. That's about the main point of interest for the first shelter. When you return back to the room, you will see your test result is finally here. Surprisingly enough, you got passed, and what's even more surprising than that is you've passed too. I passed, so congrats to me. Because it is very unlikely that you will pass this test on your first playthrough, even if you are a hardcore Megaten fan. As some questions can only be answered if you have a game manual with you. But don't worry, the game won't end even if you fail the test. In my case though, I passed the test, which will bring me directly to the next part of the story. Joining the Devil Bastard Division 2 starting tomorrow along with Yuka. Otherwise, you will have to do some extra errands in order to become a Devil Bastard in a non-conventional ways. Tomorrow's gonna be a long day, so let's hit the sack while we can. That night, Ayato dreamed of his past, and now we get to know more about our character. The name is Kazuragi Ayato. He's a fixed protagonist with a fixed name and story, which actually have two parts. For now, let's talk about the first part, which will be in effect till the first half of the game. He lost his mother during one incident of devil invasion, and shortly after, he lost his father too when he was still only 10. His father died on duty trying to protect his comrade, Nishino Yoshio. Despite that, Ayato doesn't seem to have any resentment towards devils, even though both of his parents were killed by devils, which already makes him differ from any other fictional characters. You know, the revenge character trope. I also found out that apparently the protagonist losing his parents at the start of the game is kind of like an ongoing tradition for Megaten games. I don't know if that's true or not, as I have only played a grand total of 4 Megaten games by the time I'm making this video, so fellow Megaten fans out there have to confirm it for me. Next morning, Hayasaka was sent Ayato a message that today is the day he will start working as a devil bester and to come to the office early. Shortly after, Yuka barged into his room to wake him up. Ayato still wants to take a nap, so he begged her to let him sleep 5 more minutes. Yuka was not having any excuse from him, so she told him to wake up right now, trying to get him out of his bed when suddenly Ayato thought of teasing her a little, so he jumped out of his bed to hug her, which of course Ayato got a well-deserved face palm, and Yuka left the room with a big red blotch on her face. Back to his normal sense, he quickly changed clothes and ran after Yuka. Both of them arrived at the office rather pretty early, leaving only 2 of them alone in the room. After that comes a long silence as they look into each other's eyes, their faces getting closer and closer with each second, as if thinking about finishing the unfinished business from this morning. But their moment got cut short by the noise made by Yamase, who seemed to be peeking at them from behind. What a mood killer. Then one after another comes inside the office and now the meeting starts. Nishino then explains all the terminologies Ayato needs to know in this line of work. Here's a quick and easy explanation of terminologies you, the viewers, need to know. ANS, Auto Navigation System, is a minimap. AMS, Auto Mapping System, adds extra features to minimap like showing NPC location and shops, and later even enemies. DCS, Devil Communication System, to negotiate with devils. DAS, Devil Analysis System, to analyze devil HP and race. DDS, Digital Devil Summoner, for summoning your devils. DDS Data, sometimes you can obtain devils directly without recruiting them by accessing computer rooms which you can find in dungeons. Although be aware that sometimes they can contain viruses. Server, buy these to protect your software from getting destroyed by viruses. If by any chance software got destroyed, you will need to buy them all over again, which is all the more reason you should upgrade your software whenever you can. All of the stuff I mentioned above are known as softwares, and they play an important role in your gameplay, as they will make your life easier traversing through this otherwise badly designed game. Do yourself a favor of visiting computer shops whenever you see one and keep buying new ones without worrying much of what each software does. For you will know its effects immediately as soon as you leave the shop or when you enter dungeons. But for now, you will get some equipment to get by, but the arm terminal you receive is a trashy model, so you have to go and get a better version from Emi. Go grab that quick, and now you will see various icons popping up on the minimap since she installed AMS on your ARM terminal. And now return back to the office. Now Yamase and Emi will continue the lecture that Nishino left off before, and there they just randomly drop the name Steven, which is a character from SMT1, the father of Devil Summoning Program as they say, and that their ARM terminal is actually based on his model. After that, go back to your room. You can sleep and progress the story now, but I decided to mess around with my computers for a bit to find some juicy information about the world outside. I got to know about Bill's cult, who follows Bill the Devil King, and they have a stronghold in Ueno. They have concentration camps where they capture humans and make them work to death. And in Roppongi, they have a pleasure district to find magnetite. I got to know the existence of the Holy Land known as El Seren in Shibuya and the turmoil in Ebisu Garden. I got to know the existence of another religious cult, Ishtar Hammer and Mother Venus. Both of them are of the same religious cult who follow Ishtar in Ginza. I got to know about the existence of a group called Resistance above the ground. I got to know the existence of Cybernetic Research Center in Shinda led by a man called Louis Cypher. And finally, I got to know a huge prison exists in Ikebukuro Sunshine City. These are all places you will eventually have to visit soon, so it's better to know such places exist so that we can go check them out later if we ever feel lost, which unfortunately is inevitable. For instance, just take a look at this thing. Do you know what you are looking at right now? Yeah, it's a map of Tokyo, and it is us. The pixels are very hard to look at, and they decided to give a red dot to indicate the location, without a name appearing above the red dots. So you need to enter and leave just to check the name. And I swear everything I do that I lost track of wherever I was a second ago because I am this little red tiny crosshair thing. even smaller than that already small red dot. I was like squinting my already narrow Asian eyeballs for this little shit, and you are telling me to navigate through the entire map of Tokyo in this 40+ hour game? If you can already tell, the difficult part of the game is not playing the game, but you actually playing against the game itself. I'm telling you, navigation in this game is difficult, especially with this kind of world map. Although I be seeing this as a bad thing, I actually grown to love navigating this map as the game progress. It appears Megaten games giving you Stockholm Syndrome is real after all. If you are able to master the map navigation part of the game, you have already mastered half of this game mechanic. Here's what you need to do. Try to find the nearest train station or nearest highways to locations you want to go. Memorize all the last cities in Tokyo as you will be jumping from one place to another via terminal or going in and out of train station to reach another city and shit. Bro, this thing get addicting really fast. Also, advice for you, get devils who can use teleport spells because like I said, you'll be traveling a lot. Next morning, message will be sent to your computer saying Shinjuku shelter is under attack from devil invasion. So you rush into the office to report to Nishino. Knowing the situation, Amy grew restless as both her parents is in Shinjuku, and so is Yuga's mother. Nishino then contacts the higher-ups in order to go for an emergency rescue mission to Shinjuku, but the higher-ups just order them to stand by as they want to confront the situation further if it's real or not. But Division 2 can't wait any longer as they fear more victims will pile up as second goes by, so one after another leaves the office, finally leaving only Nishino, Ayato, and Yamase in the room. Nishino will ask if Ayato will come with him to Shinjuku, and of course he said yes. Who wouldn't want to save people in trouble, right? Oh, there's Yamase. Said he don't want to disobey the higher-ups order and decided to remain back in the office, which Nishino was actually fine with it, so off we go to Shinjuku. Once we arrive there, Amy will try and open the door, but it won't even budge. She then explained that the electricity inside the shelter has been cut off, which could eventually lead to oxygen depletion. Then Blockhead Tatsuya recommends using bomb on the shelter door. I mean, what makes him think his idea could work? The door they are talking about is a shelter door that can withstand an atomic bomb much less a hand grenade. But then, how did the devils manage to get inside them? Being unable to find answers themselves, Nishino decides to request reinforcement team which can supply electricity. But of course, the higher-ups just order to come back to shelter immediately and see the chief officer. Now we got no choice but to head back there. The name is Tachibana Kenji, father of Tachibana Yuga. He mocks each and every member of Division 2, excluding the cowardly Yamase, in front of all other Division members, then call Yuga to step forward and face palm her, which makes her tumbling down onto her knees. What the hell? Ayato runs towards Yuga and Tatsuya got stopped by Nishino before he throws a punch at that psycho shit. Nishino being a proper adult and a giga-chat, he begged for forgiveness so damn hard. Kenji actually decides enough is enough and that he will give a pardon for this time only, but we all know that he just did that in order to save his face in front of other division members. As soon as they leave the room, they bump into the kid called Miri. She looks happy and says something about family outing to the farm. She is followed by another woman who seems to be her mother, Karin. Miri is Yuga's little sister who is unrelated by blood, and Karin is her father's late wife and her stepmother. After a brief exchange of glances between Karin and Yuga, Karin and Miri enter the room where Kenji was in. It appears although Yuga is on bad terms with Karin and Kenji, she seems to love Miri. Now do the thing and head back to your room. A message will appear on your computer screen saying Mama's dot bin is available for download. You chose to download it and see for yourself, and after downloading it, you lost consciousness, but you remember vaguely that you sent some kind of file towards Ochano Mizu shelter, and after that, you are out for good. When you gain consciousness again, you notice you are on your bed, but after a few seconds, you are out again. Notice your magnetite turns 0 here. When you open your eyes again, you are in some kind of dark place. It's a morgue inside the hospital. You suddenly feel sharp pain coming from your hands. When you look at them, you see your nails all torn up with blood all over your body. It's a horrible sight. And then you see your hands print all over the coffin cases, as if you try to open those cases in desperation, not knowing they are all locked by a computer. You head back to your room to sleep, and when you wake up, you see Yuga looking worried. What is this? A wet dream? I'm not even sure if any of this is real anymore. And also, notice your magnetite went up. She then sees blood all over your blanket, so she opened it and saw those lovely nails that you have and ran to get a medicine kit. After she left the room, so you decided to head to the cafeteria. Poor waitress panicked as Ayato ordered 10 packs of ration food, which is a synthetic food that Devil Basta gets to eat on missions, and they are packed to the brim with proteins and all the vitamins you need, except the taste. After you leave the cafeteria, you meet with Tatsuya and Emi. They ask why you have not been coming to office lately. Then Ayato chose to ignore them and force his way through by pushing both of them aside. When you return back to your room, you see Yuka just sitting there looking sad in the corner of the room while holding her medicine kit. Poor girl. And there is Ayato, just casually sitting down on the floor, devouring all those ration food one after another. After he had his fill, he starts to feel horny and starts to assault Yuka. So Yuka slaps Ayato in the face, telling him he is not the real Ayato she knows, and runs off, dropping her medicine kit behind. Thanks to her face palm, Ayato seems to regain his normal self, at least for now. So when he still has his conscience, he runs towards his computer to check the log. He then remembers Yamase telling him about DDM, Digital Devil Message. It appears some devils can travel through cyberspace via messages, and they can possess people that way. Ayato quickly realized he might actually be possessed right now and thought this might be the way how Shinjuku got invaded. Not soon after he realized that, Yuga and Tatsuya came rushing into his room bearing bad news. Miri, Yuga's little sister, is dead, but she seemed to die in a very strange way, as if all her blood had been sucked away, leaving her corpse in the farm. Then Tatsuya looks at Ayato and sees that his shoes are all covered in dirt. By dirt, it could only mean one place. It is the farm. Ayato, although not sure of himself, he also can't deny the possibility that he might have killed Miri in his self-unconscious state either. He told Tatsuya and Yuga that he might have been possessed by devil and killed Miri. Hearing that, Tatsuya told Ayato not to leave the room today and come to office tomorrow, as he will now go and report it to Nishino. Ayato nods silently. Tatsuya leaves the room, but Yuka decides to stay the night with Ayato, as she has a feeling that tonight might be the last time she will ever get to see him. As they keep speaking, feelings they have for each other come clear, which leads to a kiss, then onto the bed. They then proceed to make love the entire night, wishing this moment would last forever. One morning comes, Ayato left the still sleeping Yuga in bed and head towards the office alone. As soon as he entered the room, the door got locked and everyone started pointing the gun at Ayato. As if he had accepted his own fate, Ayato closed his eye and waited for the bullet to pierce through his head. Then Nishino calls out not to him but to the devil inside, telling it to come out. Then a white fume comes out of Ayato's mouth and then he collapses. Before the fume forms its shape, everyone tells Ayato to come their side as they change their target from Ayato to devil. The name is Murumuru, and he prays everyone in the room to have balls to face him inside the locked room. He told everyone to attack him all at once to see what we can do to test our strength, and so they did, but to no avail. After a few turns, Murumuru will leave the room after turning into a white fumes and slip away through the door. Then Yuga and Yamase came into the room with more bad news. Zombie virus is now spreading inside the shelter. Shit, a zombie outbreak? Inside a Megaten game? Let's go. There are tons of devil names that I'm going to butcher the pronunciation, so just to be on the safe side, I'm going to call every devil names in Japanese as it is given in the game. It appears Murumuru is running around spreading zombie virus, so Nishino quickly ordered Emi to contact the higher-ups to raise emergency alert. But she can't seem to contact them at all. All the communication lines inside the shelter has been cut, but this time it doesn't look like it is because of the electricity, as they can still use their own terminal to communicate among themselves. Emi suggests that lines could have been cut off from the main computer room, but they soon found out the door to the main computer room is locked, which just further confirms their suspicion. Then we heard a scream coming from morgue inside the hospital. When they rush inside the room, there is a nurse who is freaking out because one of the cords is missing, and it is Miri, suggesting she might have turned zombie and walks out on her own. Yuga then asks that if zombies still have their memory attached to them, there is only one place Miri could return to, and it is to her parents. Yuga quickly noticed it has to be her coward's father's doing, as he always prioritized saving himself before anyone else. So there is high possibility that he locked himself away inside some kind of safe place like main computer room. Even knowing that, they still can't do anything about the locked doors, so for now, Nishino ordered each member to go to different floors and Yamase specifically to lead each resident to the farm. He even left his family and Tatsuya's parents under Yamase's hand. Nishino orders to prioritize the safety of all civilians over anything else. Tatsuya and Emi were sent to lock the door, while Ayato and Yuga were sent to be on guard duty to watch the elevators. When they got there, the elevator starts moving, so Yuga contacts Nishino to request backup. Then a familiar face comes out from the elevator. It's Miri. She is now a zombie and she carries the severed hand of her own mother, Karen. Yuga faints at the sight, which is a good thing because the backup now arrived and Nishino told Ayato to bring Yuga to the hospital and treat her, as they have no choice but to dispose whoever becomes a zombie. Back in the hospital room, Yuga asks if Ayato can leave her alone for a while. Ayato then head outside to talk with the rest of the members. Nishino contacts Yamase and confirms the safety of his family and Tatsuya's family and other civilians. They are safe in the farm. Then Nishino orders Ayato and Tatsuya to gather some food to eat, and so they set off to gather some food from food storage and head back to the hospital room. There, everyone shared a brief, peaceful moment, bonding together while talking over tasteless yet nutritious ration foods. But everyone knows in the back of their mind that this moment will end soon as they leave this room, so they better rest their mind and body while they still can. Next day, the team went to the armory to upgrade the current weapon they have and decided to go look for more survivors as they continue to clean up the remaining zombies floor by floor. They found a sole survivor in the lab and decided to take him to the farm. But on the way, they find not zombies but now actually fully found devils inside the shelter. Worrying the people in the farm, Nishino contacted Yamase, and it was as he feared. Yamase is not picking up the call anymore. We need to head to the farm as fast as we can. When we reach the farm, everything seems quiet and desolated, but the guy we saved earlier felt relieved that he is now safe and runs inside. They tried to stop him, but it was too late. A scream came from inside, and with that comes all sort of terrifying screams of people getting killed and people getting devoured alive. It was the sight of a living hell. While we are wondering where Yamase went, group of zombies who were once humans just a moment ago attacked them, so they have no choice but to accept the fact that they are no longer humans and kill them. And then something comes towards them. A large mix of human flesh, which looks like a mother trying to protect her child even in death. It's Nishino's wife combined with his son Chida. Gosh, don't make me kill them, game. Nishino had to put up his strongest front and had to keep convincing himself that these are no longer his family but only a zombie, and ordered the team to kill the monster. The game doesn't even give up time to lament when suddenly a call from the main computer comes through. Kanji is asking for a rescue, and that he has now opened the door to the main computer. Then the line got cut. Yuga told the team to just leave guy like that to die, but Nishino still persists that he is still a human being just like them, so they were safe no matter what. When we enter the room, Kanji is already dead. Even though Yuga hates him, Kanji still was her father in the end of the day, so she runs toward him to mourn for his death. When suddenly Murumuru appears out of thin air to grab Yuga and tells the party to stand and watch the feast go down. I don't like the sound of this. They just can't stand still and watch Yuga die, so they decide to fight. Murumuru was actually holding back before, but this time he one-shots each member, knocking everyone down on the floor, half dead. Yuga was struggling to no avail at the hand of the Murumurus all alone. Then devils arrived one after another. Ipos, Ramashu, Ashira, Astade, Abadan, Deraje, Degarabia to feast upon Yuga as per command from their leader, Bayaru. Yuga can feel but powerless, surrounded by powerful devils of all shapes and sizes. And then... I'm not even going to show what happens next. The game just straight up show a picture of Yuga getting ripped off piece by piece in all directions by 7 devils surrounding her, devouring all parts of her body alive. Bayadu specifically ordered all devils to let Astarte to devour Yuga's heart by heart and heart alone. For those of faint hearts, I recommend not searching up online. It is very disturbing to look at. I'm not even joking, I almost throw up myself even. I really am not expecting a Megatan games to go this hard. No wonder the game was released for PCs and not consoles. All the while Ayato was watching the horrid scene unfold right in front of his bloodshot eyes, comes a hatred he has never felt before, burning like a wildfire inside him. That day, he swore he will wipe out all the devils on this earth. Now everything is gone and all the devil has left. But before Muru leaves, he heeds the party and tells them that deadly poisonous gas has filled the entire shelter and that he will give us a chance to live and leave the rest of our fate in our own hand as he disappears along with Yuka's head. Again, no time to lament. We need to leave this place before we run out our health. Ran towards the room where they have a vacuum suit, but then there is only enough suits left for 4 people, which means one will have to sacrifice. Just who took the rest of the suit? Then everyone starts fighting over us as each wants to sacrifice themselves as they don't want to walk over their comrade's corpse anymore. All that time, Ayato remains silent and ultimately decides to be a sacrifice himself and runs away. They try to stop but it is too late, so Amy told Newton, her robotic dog, to quickly follow Ayato. Now Ayato is all alone by himself. While he was running, all he knows is one place to go to in his head and it's the main computer room. But now there is only a pool of blood left behind, no trace of Yuga whatsoever. Ayato then collapsed into the pool of blood as he had already inhaled so much poison. When Newton enters the room, Ayato pats Newton and tells him he's a good boy. But before he exhausts his life fully, Newton brought something from the pool of blood. It's a pendant which Yuga always wears on her neck. Ayato clings the pendant dearly to his heart and wishes he wants to see Yuga again and fades into the darkness. When you open your eyes, you are in hell, yet alive. Go around this simple maze until you reach the middle. There you meet with this frog thing, and it was said to real life as alive people ain't supposed to be here. I hope I don't get to come back to hell again. Back in the living world, you woke up to see Newton sitting beside you. You are happy to see Newton again, but the shelter is still filled with deadly poisonous gas, so you gotta leave this place quick. And then awakening happens. In this game, you will awaken different powers depending on the result of your personality test that you took in the very beginning of the game. Magic is the best awakening you could ever get. For now, I had to make do with what I have because my character didn't awaken into magic type. So I'm left to just swing the sword the rest of the game. Ayato knew his world will never be the same again as soon as he set his foot outside his shelter. Climb all the way from 9th floor to 1st floor together with Newton and leave this place full of past memory once and for all. That was quite long for a game prologue, wasn't it? But after this, things return back to Megatan games we know and love. Fast story pacing, continuous dungeon hopping, collecting information and connecting all the dots, devil fusion and epic boss fights. They are all here. Giten Megami Tensei being an old game that it is, the interface is badly designed and not player friendly in the least at all. Number pads can only be used when moving around, and for the rest, you have to use your 2 poor little fingers and a mouse. You will be clicking like a madman for the entire of the game. You know how normal games use like speed and agility stats to calculate the turn order in battles, right? Yeah, this game uses CPU of your device to decide the turn order. In other words, it's an edit time RPG, which I suck by the way. Actually not even that. I suck at most action RPGs, which is why I love to play tactical RPGs and strategy RPGs like Megatan games, because I can take my time and play at my own pace. Anyway, if you are playing this game and have modern PC, just don't play it. You are going to hate your life for it. It took me a couple of days to actually set up the game to run properly. If you are using emulator, don't even think about speeding up. It won't help you. Embrace the slowness the game has. Trust me, it's for your own good. I tried the Windows version first, which is the worst version you can play. There, every devil hit you like 4 to 5 times per turn because of your CPU speed. Even if you can click fast, every battle will consume so much of your resource that you won't be able to face the boss in the end, which is the worst part. Let's just say you manage to outclick the devil, right? Remember, it is an edit-time RPG that utilizes your CPU speed, so you can only stare at the menu for half a millisecond. And then there are like tons of abilities and magic to choose from during that millisecond. So what happens is, if you miss that split-second timing, well, you miss your turn and the enemy will attack you. I might sound like I'm exaggerating, but that is what honestly felt like to me. That is why I recommend playing PC98 version. You can at least play around the settings and slow things down a bit on the emulator. Only then was I able to play the game comfortably. Also, I thought, even in the normal speed, you still have to outclick your opponents because your turn might actually get skipped, just like in Windows version if you take too long. But that's only for the initial menu. After you click sword, magic or item menu, you can take as much time as you like there. Which brings me to the next great thing about this game. Bugs. This game is full of game-breaking bugs. Those status that make you sleep, confused, panic. These are status ailments that goes away as time passes, and in this game, they are curable without the needs of items or spells. See, when you are inside the magic and item menu, in-game time actually goes by. So yeah, that bug saved me a lot of trouble. Speaking about status ailments, charm status is the worst. There is an item that can cure it, but if you are affected by it, your character will rarely do anything, let alone use the item, so it is basically incurable. But I found a way to get rid of the status. As you can see, unlike other Megaten games, this game has no normal encounter inside dungeons. Instead, you will see devils walking around. So another mechanic has been introduced in this game, distance mechanic. It is basically how many steps away you are from the enemy. If you are face to face with enemy, that's 0 distance, in which case you will automatically enter a battle that is unavoidable, also known as a close combat battle. Other than that distance, the rest are range battle. Even if you are using swords, you can still hit 0 to 1 distance towards enemies. All magic have no range limit and are castable as long as you can see enemies on screen. AoE attacks or items like Maharagi and hand grenades hits every enemy you can see on the screen. So back to curing status ailments. Some status can only be cured upon finishing the battle, like charm. What can you do is, as long as you are not in close combat battle with the opposing devil, face the direction where no devils around and the battle will end automatically, which will cure charm status. And then you can face that devil again and beat his ass. It makes you feel like you are actively trying to avoid the gaze from the enemy trying to charm you, doesn't it? Another way to cure it is to let you don't use item or party members, because robots are unaffected by charms. And finally, let's talk about user interface. Fight. Click it if you see devil on your screen. Depending on your distance, you will enter close combat mode or range mode. Attacking from behind gives you extra damage. Talk. Click it to negotiate with devil. Item. Click to use item. Magic. Click to use healing spells and teleport when you are not in battle. DDS. Digital Devil Summoner, which is used to summon devils. Clicking it will open another menu. Call. Summon your devil in exchange for magnetite. There is an initial cost, but after you summon them, the magnetite will automatically deplete itself. Don't worry about running out of magnetite, as the game gives you enough magnetite from defeating enemies and from treasure chests for you to run around with full teams of devil at all times. Return your devil back. Purge, delete your devil. Change your team members' row. 1 to 3 is front row, while 4 to 6 is back row. Party members from front row take damage more often than party members from back row. System, set both auto mapping and auto navigation to fixed for better game experience. Mapping, click it to see the overview of the current floor you are on. Status, click it to open your character selection menu. Character, click it to see yet another menu. Magic, see all your magic and read description. Ability, see all useless stuff you can do. Equip, see all of your equipment. It is here you do all your item description readings and changing equipment. Gem, it is another mechanism of this game where you put them in your equipment and they give you +1 step bonus. For example, Diamond and Emerald give you 3 different +1 step bonuses. But don't use them too much since they are rare to obtain. Save at least 2 of Ruby, Onyx, Sapphire, Topaz and Diamond for later use in the game. Chart. You can see where your current alignment is, mostly to check whether you are on the right track to get the ending you want. Next, you can actually go to the next character from this menu, which is actually convenient, but it doesn't have the option to go back, which is sad. Now let's look at character status interface. From top to bottom in order, we have name, race, level, awaken type, which you don't need to care about, HP, MB, number of levels you have, experience, and this bar indicates how much more you need to reach another level. Next we have sword, gun. They are useless in this game again. Really, I don't think equipment other than swords are useful, which we will see later in the video. Ammo, head, body, arm, feet, accessory. Stats in this game work a little bit different from other Mega Tank games. Intuition affects avoiding ranged projectile. I'm guessing it is needed to avoid enemies' guns and magic, but devils don't use guns, so that can only mean magic. Also, magic can be used in close combat, so does that count as ranged projectile too? I don't know, its description is very vague. Willpower affects magic defense. Magic power affects magic power. Intellectual power affects your magic spell accuracy. Divine protection, which only gods know what the stat actually do because, well, strength, it says it affects close combat powers. So does attacking with sword at one distance not count? Or does it affect only 0 distance? So many questions. Vitality, it increases your HP. Agility, the description says it affects your turn order in battle, which is a big fat lie. It only affects your attack accuracy. The turn order thing though, just leave it to your CPU speed. I can't believe I'm talking about CPU speed in a Mega Tank game. Dexterity, the description says this stat affects your ability to use weapons skillfully. From what I have played, I found it uses when equipping weapons. Other than that, I don't know. Charm, put points in them if you want to flirt with devil chicks. Next up, starting from left to right in order, we have sword, gun, magic, and whatever the heck that thing is. If someone knows what that is, please help your poor little guy right here. Starting from top to bottom in order this time, we have ability, accuracy, attack, evasion, defense, ammo. And with that, we are done with user interface. For stats, raise vitality first, later put points into strength and dexterity, and finally into agility. 40 points in each stat if possible, so that you can wield late game weapons. There is also another bug that is abusable and game breaking thing you can do here. Say your attack got debuffed, right? No matter how many times your attack got debuffed, you can instantly recover back to normal stat by unequipping and re-equipping your weapon. Meaning you have an infinite recovery glitch. But the same applies to buff as well, so abuse it with caution. After you left the shelter, walk around for a bit and Newton will start barking at something. Well, look who's here. It's Yamase. He dared to show his face in front of Ayato again after all he has done to them. Then a man in suit appears and quickly reveals his form as Dandelion. He oversees a concentration camp in Shinjuku and asks us if we would like to come with them or die on the street. Ayato chose to decline his kind offer and the battle begins. I defeat him in 2 turns, then Dandelion runs away and Yamase told Ayato that he will regret this one day. I ain't gonna listen to someone who sides with devils, you know. Then we got some more company. A jeep stopped right in front of Ayato and 2 people jump out from there. It is Sonoda and Kamikawa. They both are members of Pentagram from resistance base around here. They also happen to be sole surviving devil bastard from Shinjuku shelter. After some talks, they seem to be trustworthy, so Ayato decided to go along with them to their resistance base. Once inside, you will have to scan yourself to see whether you are a devil or not. There are tons of dogs in the base, which are all trained by their leader, Watanabe, to detect devils. All people here don't seem very fond of devil bastard from shelters. Then we go to Watanabe's room and he will ask for our assistance in the upcoming campaigns, which include freeing concentration camps and retaking Shinjuku government office, where it is said that Baeru, the king of all devils, resides, which is convenient for Ayato since he is going to kill that guy sooner or later anyway, so might as well do it while he has this opportunity. Watanabe was delighted by this response and ordered Kamikawa and Sonoda to go and call the other 2 survivors from the first shelter. It's Tatsuya and Emi. It's so good to see old friends again. Then Ayato noticed Nishino is missing, so he asked Tatsuya, but both of their face turned sour when he asked that question. So what happened was Nishino went off on his own, saying he's going to atone for his sins for not being able to protect his people, his family, and Ayato. After that, each head off to different directions towards their own rooms. Now do the thing and sleep. Next day, go to Armory to stock up new weapons to prepare for the upcoming campaign. Inside the meeting room, Watanabe assigned missions to each team, and our team, which consists of Ayato, Sonoda, Kamikawa, Tatsuya, and Emi, got assigned to a diversion team. We are supposed to attack the leader of the camp directly as soon as we hear the sound of an explosion. This is supposed to be the most dangerous role to play, so clearly we are getting different treatment than the rest. Can't help but we need to show them what we can do and gain their trust. The plan is that you will hide inside the supply cart when you enter the concentration camp. The guard there nearly noticed the team, but luckily they made it past the gate safe and sound. After they enter the camp, a cat girl will appear and tell them that she will be their guide throughout this campaign. But first they need to go change their clothes. So they go to where the guard room is, knock down a few guys and take their clothes. And the result is this. Although I feel sorry for Kamikawa, he is wearing child clothes unfortunately, as the clothes are not enough for every single one of them. Then the cat girl leaves them as she has to try her best to keep the camp leader busy. It's an easy dungeon to navigate. When you reach the boss room, you will hear an untimely explosion being triggered, which is going to cause danger for the cat girl, so we have to act quickly before the camp leader kills her. And so when they enter the room, they see Danelion again. He is the camp leader of Shinjuku concentration camp. Fighting with Danelion the second time should be an easy one if you are a magic type. But me being a sword type just doesn't make it look easy at all. Plus both Tatsuya and Emi was dead in my party at that time, so I had to fight with only 3 members, which took me several tries to finally beat this guy. And with that, we finally freed the Shinjuku concentration camp and the campaign was a success. That night, we all went back to the base with all smiles on our face. Watanabe was delighted to welcome us back and congratulate us. All other pentagrammas also seemed to be impressed by us too. Head back to the room and rest, as tomorrow we are going to take back Shinjuku government office and defeat Bayaru. This dungeon has one-way doors and dark room. Kamikawa will carry you throughout this dungeon as he have Hama spell which can one-shot any devils. Go to the 3rd floor and take the south elevator to 33rd floor and climb all the way to 45th floor to fight Bayaru. It's a simple fight of endurance. I'm doing an average damage of around 30, so it took me quite some time to finally beat this frog spider guy down. Just when I thought Kamikawa is going to be a great party member to use, he got killed by Bayaru in the last moment trying to protect Ayato. Rest in peace, Kamikawa. And also, isn't Bayaru supposed to be like a king of all devils? Why was it this easy to defeat? Not to say this very early in the game. That night, everyone drank all night long, boasting that all devils are finished and the king is dead. They eat and drink the whole night. No one even gave Kamikawa a proper barrier, so we got to do it ourselves. But not all pentagrammas are having fun either. There are also those who have lost their loved ones and friends just like us with Kamikawa in this campaign. And there are some who just can't seem to let their guard down since anything could happen at any time, and some don't believe Bayaru is actually dead. The next day, Ayato wakes up to the sound of gunshots and screams, so he left the room together with Sonoda and find out they are under attack by devils led by Adonis in retaliation for their death of their king Bayaru. We went to see Watanabe, and before we enter, we heard a gunshot coming from inside the room. When we went inside, we see a person whose face we can see lying dead on the floor, and Watanabe tells us that the devil possessed that person and tries to attack him, so he kills it. Watanabe doesn't seem like he is in the right mind when Sonoda was talking to him. When we left the room, we are escorted to another floor, but there is no one here except Adonis. Then a voice came from behind Ayato. When asked who the owner of the voice is, it replies, Baru Hadato. Hearing the voice, Ayato and Sonoda can no longer move their body anymore. Baru Hadato suggests a better option to Adonis that he should take us to Yoyogi concentration camp and have us walk to death there, to which Adonis agreed, so he let them smell some weird stuff and then they lost their consciousness right there. You open your eyes and find out you are imprisoned in a room with cold floors and walls. Ayato looks around to see if there is any way he can escape from this role, but failed. So he had no choice but to scream on top of his lungs for help. Annoyed and troubled, someone actually came inside the room, and it's Yamase. I've actually had enough with this guy. He is just here to mock me, isn't he? He told me he had modified my arm terminal a little bit, then he gave it back to me and leave. Good thing I have my arm terminal back, but now it can even display a minimap. That Yamase. One of these days, I swear. After a while, the guards came inside to take Ayato away to see the camp leader, Beruzevon. He says he has no intention of letting us get out from here alive, for we are the one who kills their king, Bayeru. Then they are left alone for some time, and that's when they had a glimpse of the girl strolling around carefreely. He thought she could be one of the walkers in this camp, but the one Beruzevon has taken a liking on, just like it was the case with Danelio and the cat girl. After a brief exchange of names, the guards return and takes Ayato to the walk site. Okay, in this game, you really need to walk actively. If you ditch walk and wander around, the guards will attack you and you will lose HP. If you lose all your HP this way, it is game over. So just do what they tell you to do for now and dig. Then you will be taken to dining hall to eat, and there the guards will force you to praise Bayeru for food. At that moment, you see a vision of what looks like Yuga. Is that really her? She wants you not to praise Bayeru and disappear. Do what she said, and congratulations, you and Sonoda will be carried to a torture room and get your ass whipped. When you are on the verge of death, the guard will take your body back to the cold prison and leave. After some time, Namida Rui, the girl from before, will appear and give you food to eat and leave. This becomes a bit of a routine for you. Get up, go to work, go to dining hall, refuse to praise Bayeru, get your ass whipped, and get yourself thrown into the icy cold prison again with your body aching all over and hungry as shit. Then Rui will come and give you food. But on the third day, something happened. That night, she came to give you food, but then she told Ayato that she's getting noticed by Beruzevon now, so starting from tonight, she won't be able to bring food for Ayato anymore. I need to get the hell out of this place ASAP then. Luckily, it appears Sonoda managed to get some kind of iron wire from someplace, which he changed his phone into a key shape and managed to get out from his own cell room. He then came to open the door for us too and urged us to escape this place together. He even asked Ayato to take Rui with them too, as he also gave him food in the last few days. Again, I wish I am a magic type, because all your equipments are all gone and now you are running back naked inside the camp. Good thing Sonoda can use magic, but you don't have all the time in the war, as your MP is literally your time limit. If it runs out before you can retrieve your equipment, you are basically dead. Move quickly and avoid unnecessary fight, but that itself is difficult since the entire dungeon is a no-com zone. But you can still check your overall map, so I don't see the gimmick here. After you recruit Rui into your party, Yamase will appear once again in front of you, and guess what he did? That guy alarmed all guards in the camp, screaming, and then he runs away. I'm so mad. Then you have to fight a series of guards, so defeat them, and after that, Beruzevon will appear to fight you. It is kind of anticlimactic to fight a boss on a corridor way, but whatever. I've actually had enough with this place, so beat that guy quick and get out of this place. Gosh, I never felt so refreshed in my entire life when I get to see the wall map again. Now let's go back to the Shinjuku government office building and rest, shall we? Also, I thought, once we get there, we got carried yet again by pentagrams to Watanabe. What now? Then Watanabe will declare Ayato and Sonoda traitors for planning to assassinate him and command pentagrams to lock us both in the room to have us executed tomorrow. Wow, really? After we've just returned from that concentration camp? Please game, have mercy on these two. As if the game heard my pleas, it decides to send saviors to us. The cat girl from before and some other people who believe that we are not traitors came to us to bail us out. Thank God. But doesn't this mean we are back on street with nowhere to go again? It's a moderately large dungeon with a few damage traps and also an evil temple where you can fuse devil. So I did that and got Abu Dueru and Vista. No real reason as to why I fused them. I just randomly made these two guys and they happen to be useful, Since Abudueru has teleport spell and Vista have buff and debuff spells, this game takes a different approach unlike SMT1 and Devil Summoner games, where you constantly negotiate with devils to recruit and fuse to get stronger devils. That kind of game loop is what I enjoy the most of Megaten games, but in this game, you no longer need to do that because devils can now level up by themselves and have their own equipment, meaning you can recruit a pixie and use her till the game's end. Not that I have tried that, but just saying. It also means if you are satisfied with the team you have right now, you can stop recruiting devils and power your way through until you hit the wall. Then maybe you can start recruiting new devils. You will find people all brainwashed by Adonis inside here and will hate you if you say something bad about him. Enter the boss room and there you will find Adonis, surrounded by his harem of men. He acts all high and mighty and shit, but this boss is a joke. I defeat this guy in one turn. Then Adonis will drop the most cliche line of all time and runs away. Our next stop is in My City. It is not story relevant, but you can shop and gather info as to where to go next. Talking about items, there are a bunch of items in this game. Language barrier being one thing is already a bit harder for me to overcome. The whole game is one giant mess of text simulator. I could even say the game is made of 95% text and 5% something else, which makes it looks and feels like a game. Or to the point where you might even consider this game a visual novel. I mean, if you consider visual novel a game anyway. Surprisingly enough, the game having too much text actually works to its own advantage in my opinion. So what I did was, I tried to find every treasure I can get from dungeons and read every single item description, just so that I get to know what each and every item do. I mean, I remember some of them, but most of the time, I tend to forget what it does by the time I finish searching up its kanji. But still, I can say with confidence that 80% of them are actual trash, while 90% are garbage, and 1% that I don't understand. You get the idea. Items don't really play a huge role in this game. If you have your HP and MP restoring items, you know, the Megaten staples, Masakis and Somas, you are pretty much okay. Although it's daunting to read tons of Japanese text, I still recommend you to do so. I believe the more you understand this game, the more you will enjoy playing it. Now let's check out the bar. I try to talk to people, but the bartender won't let me talk to them unless I order some drinks first. So I did that, and now I can talk with people inside. The people inside the bar tells me about the My City is a place where pentagrammas live, but the ones living here still don't know I've been declared traitor by Watanabe, so we are still cool. We also get to know about people having disappearing from this city once every full moon, and also share information about siblings living in Otaku Haruku, even though that place is full of devils. Before we leave though, just don't forget to buy all the software available in the computer shop. At least buy ANS so that you can see the minimap again. After that, we are ready to head to Otaku Haruku. You are only here for one thing, and it is to go find those siblings. You can find them on 5th floor in this building. When you enter it, you will see a weekend young girl who keeps coughing blood. As you try to approach her, a loud voice comes from behind her telling you to step back. The little girl's name is Mei and her brother is Kazumi. He will then throw you out of the room, so come back after the moon phase change. Go out outside a bit and go to 5th floor again. Moon phase in this game changes faster if you are traveling on the wall map rather than inside the dungeons. Keep going in and out until Kazumi is gone. This time you will see Mei alone and in pain, so they decided to go and help her out. When Kazumi comes back home, he thanks them for looking after Mei while he was away and tell us more about themselves. Their parents have been dead since they are young, so they've been looking after each other ever since they were a kid. And also, he wanted us not to come here on full moon day, and so we did. And on that day, Mei will tell you to leave as it is dangerous to be here at this time. You also get to hear some distant howling when you enter the building on full moon, so these two must have something to do with the incident back at My City. Visit them again in the next moon phase. This time, Kazumi will ask to look after Mei until the next full moon phase is over, as he won't be able to control himself next time. Control what? But Kazumi still refused to answer that question, so we need to take Mei somewhere safe for now until the next full moon ends. May is free and weak girl, and we can't go anywhere far, so Sonoda suggests we stop by Kishimojin, where one of his acquaintances lives, spend a night there during full moon. The monk there also tells May's disease, so she is good for the time being. Then that night, May during her sleep keeps saying her brother is in danger again and again, which makes them worry about Kazumi too, so Ayato and Sonoda decide to go look for Kazumi that night, leaving Namida together with the monk to look after Mei. And so they head back to 5th floor, and inside they found a werewolf sitting on top of a mountain of corpse devouring flesh. And then the battle begins. It is an easy two-phase boss fight, which during the middle, Mei and Namida will come running inside and tell us that werewolf we are fighting right now is our brother. But what can we do other than knock his sense back by fighting him? And so we did, and Kazuma is back to normal again. And what's more, he can even control his werewolf power even though it's still full moon. Both of them thanks us, and they went on their own adventure together to help the life of other people, to atone for the life he took, and also to train himself to become stronger in order to protect his little sister, Mei. So he was the one who was attacking people from Mine City, huh? While you are about to leave, a messenger from Adonis appeared with a letter of challenge inviting you to Ground Zero Underground Colosseum. If we did not come or if we were late, lives of innocent people will be lost. So we can really decline the challenge now, can we? The Colosseum is a bit far from Odaku Haruku, so it will take you about at least 1 day or so, which by the time you reach the Colosseum, one victim will already be made, so rest in peace to that one innocent citizen. Inside, some devil chicks will appear and will separate 3 of you away. Sonoda and Namida will be put into different rooms until your duel with Adonis has ended. So head right into the arena ring and face Adonis. You will be fighting in front of a huge crowd of all sorts of spectators, including today's main guests, Abaddon and Ramashu. You know, those devils who you got before. Adonis, as always, looks as confident as ever, and he declares it will be a fair game. I know this guy challenged me for a one-on-one fight just because he can win 3 against 1 before. Like, that won't make any difference anyway. And then he will make up rules that was supposed to put me into disadvantage, like taking away all my equipment and fighting him butt naked just with sword. But it's a good thing because I'm a sword type and all I need is a sword. The fight actually feels epic for some reason, since you are just there to beat up a devil, technically bare hand to death, in front of so many spectators who surely are wishing you dead every single second. After you beat this guy, however, the whole arena just like shut up, including Ramashu, who seems to have a crush on Adonis or something, and Abaddon is just there laughing cynically at Adonis. I can already see some kind of weird love triangle here. Ayato, instead of dealing Adonis a final blow, he just chose to let Adonis bathe in shame in front of millions of spectators. Then Adonis says the things and runs away again. After you return back inside, Namida will come meet with you and just casually drop the line that Sonoda is dead. Says he was killed with his heart gouged out by the devil. Just like that, one of my party members just dying off screen. What the hell, Giten Megami Tensei? Ayato questions why Namida looks so okay with Sonoda's death. Then she retaliates back by saying it's just how she was brought up, living above the ground and like shelter dwellers like us. For her, death is like everything things. Even so, Namida seems so cold-blooded for a human. But still, Ayato insists to give Sonoda a proper burial, so we head to Kishimojin and ask the monks there to give prayer and bury him there. Thank you, Sonoda. You are a good party member. Rest in peace. After that, you are just like lost. There is no indication as to where to go next, not even a vague clue, honestly. So wander around and you will find soon enough that there is not much place to go except Sunshine City and Ikebukuro. So let's head there for now. A moderate-sized dungeon. The only floor you need to be careful is third floor, where you have to use warp zone to reach 10th floor, where you have to fight with a boss. The people here are all locked up behind bars, just like it says from the terminal information. Sunshine City has a huge prison inside. When you enter the boss room, you will see lines and lines of chains hanging from the ceiling with dead human bodies, except one, and that one just happened to be Emmy's. She is still alive, and what a place to be reunited again. Ayato tries to call Emmy, but instead the boss came out. I didn't remember calling you, but okay. The boss is Abaddon. We have seen him at the Colosseum, and more importantly, he's one of the devils who ate Yuga. I'm still using that ceramic blade I got from the first shelter, so it is still doing 20 max damage. But my Abudueru and Vista can dish out 150 damage with metal and 50 damage with Agidaon, so Abaddon goes down in a few turns. When he's dead, you are out in Yuga's left arm. Like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. Then Namida will start talking nonsense like this was as she would have expected, and that she's not helping me revive Yuga and stuff. Like, when did I ever mention anything about Yuga to her? And then she left the party. Ayato tried to call her back, but he just can't leave Emi back there, so sadly, we got to prioritize saving Emi for now. You guys have to start going in and out of my party whenever you feel like. Seriously, no one seems to stay in my party forever other than my loyal devils. After Emi regains her consciousness, Ayato and she share a brief moment of happiness for reunion, and then she explained her situation. After we got sent to Yoyogi concentration camp, Tatsuya also disappeared, and she was just left alone in that base. So before Watanabe turns his eye on her, she escaped the base and starts searching for us, only to be captured by Abaddon and end up here. She doesn't seem to have Newton with her, so something might have also happened to him. As soon as we leave the room, Yuga Vision will appear and tell Ayato to head to Ichigaya next. Emi will join your party for the time being to search for Tatsuya, but for now, let's find the ways to get to Ichigaya shelter. But before we head there, head to Toyama shelter first and go through a small maze to reach Professor Hirasawa's lab. When you ask him whether if he knows the way to store this decapacitated arm, he will point to Ichigaya shelter where his acquaintance Kusaka lives. But you will not be able to meet him under normal circumstances, so Hirasawa will write an introduction letter to Kusaka in ways he will not be able to decline our request. Shortly after, a little girl carrying tea will appear and looks who it is. It's Mei. Apparently, Kazuki left Mei here to let Hirasawa, who apparently is also known as the father of biotechnology, to cure her disease, and in return, Kazuki was told to search around Tokyo for Hirasawa's missing daughter, Alice. Still, it's good to see Mei again safe and sound. Next stop is at Ichigaya shelter, but before we enter, you will see Riraje. He seemed to have predicted that we would have come here sooner or later for Yuga's body parts, and it seems he was right. He says he has Yuga's right arm, so I defeat him and take it. Now we can enter the shelter. Show the letter to the nurse at the entrance and she will show you the way to Kusaka's room. First impression of this guy is a mad scientist like Okabe from Steins Gate. After we show him the letter for Hirasawa, we get to know that he indeed have a vessel to preserve decapacitated human parts. But we won't be able to buy our own vessel because it's very expensive, so he drops an offer whether we will let him do some experiment on Yuga or not, in exchange for storing the parts in his vessel here in this shelter. For now, Ayato says yes, as it will be really awkward to carry these two arms around you as you travel. We are done here for now, so let's head to the Ochanomizu shelter. Once you are inside the shelter, everything looks red. The shelter is literally burning. And then the angel Fanieru will appear to request you to defeat Aimu, the devil who is causing all this fire, and she is busy trying to hold off fire from reaching the lower part of the shelter where the survivors of Ochanomizu shelter evacuated to. This dungeon is full of damage zone, so you need to have a core sheet if you don't want to take damage. As for me, I didn't have one at this point of the game, so I got to rely on lots and lots of healing to get through this dungeon. I finally got a decent weapon drop from fighting monster here. It's an ice wolf sword, one of the strong swords you can get in this game. If I didn't have that when I fight Aimu, it might not have been an easy fight. Aimu is a fire devil, so don't fight him with fire. It reflects them back at you. After you defeat him, Fanieru will tell you reconstruction of Ochanomizu shelter will take some time, so she sent you back to the entrance. Let's kill time somewhere then. You will find mainly mutants living here, and after gathering info from here, we got to know mutants, specifically mutants who are unlike them, seems to be living in Ariake, and also about a guy named Rui Cypher, which I think is one of the characters from SMT1, right? He is deemed as a godlike being for mutants here, as he healed them for basically free, unlike Kusaka. This facility is apparently funded by government, but we don't really get to know what government exactly is. As you know, the government office is kind of in a mess as of right now, overtaken by devils. Louis Cypher also seems to be selling the vessel for 80,000 mega, which is actually affordable. So I bought one, but I also need a room to set it in, so we need to get a room first. Go back to Ochana Mizu shelter, which by the time reconstruction will now be completed. Panieru will appear and said she will give you a room for saving the people in this shelter, which is what I exactly need, so thank you. If you talk around a bit, you will find out that Devil Aimu was able to invade inside the shelter via digital devil message. Now that I think about it, Ayato did send a message to Uchanomizu's shelter when he was possessed by Murumuru, didn't he? Now I feel bad for people thanking him for saving their life, when in reality, Ayato was just here to clean up his own mess. Go get those parts you left back there with Kusaka, then to Rui Cypher and bind the faucet. Then have your devil carry all the way to Ochanomizu's shelter and into your room, and boom, now you can store Yuga's body parts in your own room. Next place we need to go is Akihabara building. There you will bump into a young man called Soma Sanshiro, younger brother of the protagonist of the manga this game is based on. Although he is now a lot older and has only one arm for some reason, looking at the arm terminal, Sanshiro quickly understood Ayato is a devil bastard. Then he told Ayato that he was together with a devil bastard like him several days ago, and when asked when he is now, he replied he is dead, and handed us over the holographic device that he left behind. It shows Yogo and Cheetah smiling and playing together. So it was Nishino's. He is dead too, huh? Rest in peace, Nishino. Sanshiro is here in Akihabara to buy cybernetic arm, which he still hasn't obviously, and he is on his way to Ginza to find his missing friends, which I'm assuming the characters from the manga. Then he will join the party. I check his status and sees he is still missing an arm, so I guess your cybernetic arm have to wait, Sanshiro. Visit computer shop and install your arm terminal with latest software as usual and head to the second floor. There you will meet with Kazumi. Wasn't expecting to see him here. He is still grinding to be able to fully control his werewolf. I tried to recruit him, but he will reject the offer as he is still in his training arc. When you leave Akihabara, you will bump into another person who looks like a junk seller. Love the drip though. He will show you what he has in store and one uniform in particular caught Emi's eye. It is Tatsuya's. Flabbergasted, she asks where the junk seller got that uniform. He keeps beating around the bush, so Ayato and Sanshiro had to take underhanded method by threatening him. Only then he started to speak. Says he got from Millennium General Hospital and runs away. So that will be our next destination. You are here to find the leads to whereabouts of Tatsuya. As expected, Emi will not let you leave until we find some clues, so go around the hospital to collect info. Downstairs you will find that junk seller again, and he will try to run away from you, but you will find him again in another room. This time he will give you Tatsuya's uniform, so take it and ask around once more to see the doctor's reaction to the uniform. Then you will find out Tatsuya was indeed brought in here for his burn injuries, and that it was Yamamoto who was in charge of him. Yamamoto will feign ignorance at first, but when you show him Tatsuya's uniform, he showed a slight reaction, which they noticed, so they had to force the war out of him by threatening again. And then he finally gave up and admit he indeed took part in selling corpse to the client for big money. Yes, Tatsuya is also dead. According to Yamamoto, he sold it to the lab in Ishigaya, so let's pay a visit to our old friend Kusaka. He is chill and admit easily that he did bought a corpse from here, but it was all just for research purposes, he says. Although I do think this guy is crazy to a certain extent. He will show you where Tatsuya is stored, and there he is. Before they noticed, Emi was already on her knees on the floor, crying and lamenting. Kusaka will then tell us that there is actually a way to bring him back to life, but it will no longer be Tatsuya they once know of. But it's still possible nonetheless. And of course it's going to be expensive. All that talk just gave poor Emi enough hope to live again, so she begs Kusaka to take her under him. to work for the expenses she need to cover to bring Tatsuya back to life, to which Kusaka just laughed off and gladly accept her offer. Amy apologized to us for her selfishness, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? I'm all cool with it. Except I'm going to lose yet another member and now it's just me and Sanshiro. Now let's head to Ginza Underground as we initially intended to. You got to take underground subway this time, so head east from Akihabara building and there, Sanshiro will call out Tsuchigumo to clean the obstacle. Now that you think about it, the game is sort of linear, but most of the time you won't even notice it as you will find yourself busy trying to figure out where to go next in the world map most of the time. Buy a new software, get that info from bar, and you will learn many people talking about head temple called Mother Venus and Ishtar Hammer because they can get free sex from there. Yeah, temple where you can have free sex. I'm actually sold on this place, can't wait to go there. Before you leave Ginza and equip all your equipment, return back all your devils, then go outside and you will get attacked by Bayaru soldiers. Don't even try to fight them cause it's futile. You are supposed to lose here and get yourself killed to progress the story. When you open your eyes, you are in another place. I can't remember how many times this has happened to Ayato already, but I don't think it's going to stop anytime soon. You then notice a shrine maiden beside you. Seeing you regain your consciousness, she then starts stripping you down, so Ayato had to forcefully get out of that room to go look for Sanshiro. As expected, poor guy is also in the same situation as you, so get it out too and head towards the main room. It appears all the rumors are true. This place does give you free sex. What is this? Walls and harem? Inside what looks like a main room, you will meet with Shizuna. When asked why she saved us from Bayaru soldiers, she insists to first let her explain about what they are called actually is and what they do before she answers our question. Well, carry on then. So there are two head temples called Mother Venus and Ishtar Hammer, and they worship Ishtar. Their doctrine is giving free sex, or as they call it, free love to anyone. Devils, humans, mutants, and even Bayaru soldiers. What in the world? She tells us the leader of the temple, aka Holy King, is not her, obviously, but her son called Kazusa, who is in Ishtar Hammer, and urges us to go see him to know why we were saved in the first place. So what? You never intend to answer our question from the start, don't you? In Ishtar Hammer, you got escorted to where their so-called Holy King is. You can hear a woman moaning from the room inside. When Shizuka calls out to their leader, he comes out acting all high and mighty, although he looks even younger than Ayato himself. Kazusa calls himself the Hunter God, the chosen one of Ishtar, and defeated the dragon Iluyanga. Still, I don't see the point of us being here. Kazuka then tells us that they found the reincarnation of Ishtar and it was Yuka. Looks like they also somehow know Ayato and Yuka had a relationship with each other, although Kazusa was not sure what we are to each other in the previous life. And then he figures they both have the same goal of reviving Yuka into awakening her back to Ishtar, so as if to gain our trust or to hold hostage against us, Shizuna calls out some woman from the back of the room. It is Yuka's mother. She is still alive, but she seems to have lost her sanity somehow, but they assure her safety and send her back to room before Yuka's mother gets excited from seeing us. Whatever that was, we now have full support from two Ishtar calls. After gathering some more info, we found out that if Ishtar were to revive, Kazusa is going to become one with Ishtar, and for Shizuna, it means losing her son. So I'm not really seeing the point of her supporting the idea. Back at Ginza Underground City, we heard there is a train that only comes when it is new moon phase, so come around again when it is new moon. But if you enter Hibiya subway line when it is not new moon and keeps going till the dead end, you will retrieve Newton's skeleton. So he was here all along since Shinjuku base got under attack. Bring the skeleton to Ichigaya shelter. Here you can choose whether you will let Emi or Kusaka to repair Newton. Emi will repair for free but Kusaka for a fee. I feel bad for doing as I'm pleased despite Newton being her dog, but I let Kusaka repair Newton since the one he made will give Newton 10 plus levels and overall better stats. And now we got ourselves a permanent party member. Yay! I'm telling you, having a dog on a party is a must when playing Megaton games. They are the best partner you could ever have in this otherwise hopeless and depressing world. Now back to Hibiya subway line on New Moon. Right where you found New Dawn, the train will now arrive, but there is no conductor on this train. It moves on its own, and will carry you to only one location, Shinagawa Aquarium. You can find a two-faced boss battle and gain quite a lot of experience from here, and you can also meet with Namida. She starts asking whether you still love her stuff and then leave. At this point, you are just visiting wherever the location the NPC mentions you. And you can reach Ebisu Garden by accessing the highway and get off at Minami Izabu. People living here are mostly those who can enter the Holy Land in Shibuya. So tons of people who are jealous and envy of people living in Shibuya lurks around here. It's not a cool place to be around for a long time, but you can buy better equipment here, so if you have mega to spare, go for it. In case you are wondering, I'm still cooking with those equipment I got from the first shelter, and still looking fine in them actually. Here we got to know about Fudo statue and their missing eyeballs, and also rumors about hearing laughing sounds from Shinagawa Hotel, which is like southeast from here, so to the Shinagawa Hotel next then. When you enter the hotel, you will see a rabbit in suit at reception. It will tell you allies live on the topmost floor, so this is where you can find the girl that Kazumi is looking for. If you go to the topmost floor, you will find Kazumi here too, although he is being held up at this hotel, being unable to leave as allies has taken a liking to him, calling him prince and stuff. He will tell you that allies emit an aura of death and that she is dangerous to mess around with. So let's go check what's the deal with allies then. While they try to strike a conversation, allies start sprouting about some childish nonsense that they don't care about, and they were forced to sit there for hours on end for her so-called tea party. After that tea party, Kazumi thought enough is enough. He wanted to see Mei again, and there is also a promise with Professor Hirasawa too, so for now let's try to get out from this hotel first. Once we do that, a voice will come out of nowhere and say that Ayato dared to steal her prince, and that she won't accept that, and then she will proceed to lock them in the hospital. When you go and talk with the rabbit again, it will attack us this time. This rabbit is a demonoid, and so are other enemies in this hotel. Take the stairs this time. When you reach Alli's room again, she will push all of us out of the room and change her true form. She is also a demonoid. I feel like it has been a long time since we have a proper story relevant boss fight. You can easily lose your sense of progress after playing this game for a while, you know. Allies use status ailment spells to worry about, but her damage output is largely neglectable. After we defeat her, we will get sent out of the hotel again. When enter, everything looks old and run down, just like what it should look like considering the great catastrophe. We need to go back to Allies room again, and you will see the road is covered in dust, and there on the mountain of demonoid corpse lies a broken Allies. Wait, does that mean was this all an illusion? Kazumi will carry Allies out of the room looking kind of sad. I think he can empathize with Allies deeply since he thinks Allies too get possessed by a devil just like him. Kazumi thanks us for helping him, and now let me guess, you are leaving my party again, right? Roppongi is the same in the game as well as in the real world, with a heavy pleasure district. Everyone seems to be talking about pleasure district here, so after stocking up your items, leave this place. There is also Evil Palace. They say this is the only place you can combine 3 devils and fuse devil and human together, but that's not true. Every other evil temples you find can do this. Now it's time we head to the meat of Roppongi, the Great Pleasure District. You can find all shapes and forms of different kinds of devils to have intercourse with for different prices. The more you do it, the more your alignment will lean towards chaos. But if you are able to have a chance with Josephine, you will immediately lean towards chaos alignment. I don't want anything to do with devil prostitutes, so this really is not my place. But for you fellow degenerates out there, this could be a place for you. It is basically like Ichizoku reviewers. If you are done screwing around, it's time to explore that dungeon, though it's pretty much a straight way towards the boss room. There you will fight with E-boss. From this point onwards, I start spamming buff spell on my body. There's really no limit as to how far your stats can go. And soon E-boss will fall and you are upgrading Yuga's right leg. Next, we head to Candy Shop Plaza. Do some more shopping if you want, otherwise collect more information. According to the residents here, it is said that humans are being taken away for human sacrifice at Ueno Temple, but apparently they are not really taken away from places near Ueno Temple, but rather from different places. But that doesn't mean people living in the Candy Shop Plaza are safe either. To the north, we have Bairu called headquarters, where rumor has it that Bairu could be hiding here, which is enough reason to give this place a visit. Inside, you can talk with Bairu soldiers, but don't expect to hear anything nice from them. Although it is strange to see them not attacking you, it is because Bairu gave an verdict not to attack Ayato. But why? On the 5th and final floor, the man inside told you Bairu is no longer here and has already moved to somewhere else. Now all that left in this area is Ueno Temple, so let's head there. This dungeon is one of the difficult dungeons to navigate in this game. It got pitfalls, warp zones, conveyor belts, and it has 6 floors in total. On the 5th floor, you will fight with a boss called Baruberisu. And right around here, I lost a huge chunk of footage, so sorry about that. But I remember it being longer than other boss battle. This boss in particular has high defense, so it's going to be a long fight. After he is defeated, he will use his remaining power to send you to the lowest floor where the dead body from the result of human sacrifice are located. There you will find a man who is about to die, who will tell you the password to enter further into Millennium Head Temple and something about a mirror. Go in further and you will fight with another mini-boss, Pluto. When you are about to leave this place, near the entrance, Sanshiro will tell you he found some clues as to where she can find Kyoko, one of his friends, and now he had to leave. He feels bad for leaving me behind and promised to help me if we were to meet again. So now I lost another party member. But wait, Namida is here. Is she going to join us? She asks you if I am able to kill her and that I should escape from her, and she just left. What is she on about? Namida is acting very weird lately. When we leave the temple, we will bump into yet again with the Gen sailor from before. He tells us about opening his new shop in Akihabara, so head there and buy Guardian set from him before we head to our next destination. So for the next destination, we are to head for the rumored haunted mansion to the east of Candy Store Plaza. It is called Ohana Mansion. It looks like traditional Japanese house. Inside you fight series and series of fixed enemies until you reach the innermost room where the young girl resides. She is Yoshino Hime. Although she might look young, she has been living in this mansion together with her yokai friends for God knows how long after catching ties with the humans. Yoshino Hime is also one of the local deities. She will look at you and say you have a darkness in your heart and it needs to be addressed quickly. So she will send you inside your heart to go look for the darkness. This is some dream scene which is very anime, not gonna lie. Trying to find the darkness inside one's heart? Come on, you can't say no to me. No wonder this game is based on the manga. Anyway, on the first floor, you will come to face with your past. You will meet with both your mother and father again. Both Ayato's parents were proud of him because he wanted to become a devil bastard just like his father. And not before long, you will see his mother got killed during devil invasion inside the room where both your father and younger version of Nishino were present. Next, you will see your father die trying to protect Nishino, which leads Nishino to in turn take you in and care for you as one of his family until you become a devil bastard. Next floor, you will have to face with your present. You meet with Tatsuya, who is trying to confess with Emi, but he is worried that she might not like him back because of the difference in social status. But we all know how the confession turned out in the end. Next, I had to re-experience the time where each member introduced oneself to each other, where everyone was still together. Then we see Ayato helping Yuga carry her things, and then we meet with Emi. She will talk about the ring Tatsuya gave her and also give advice to Ayato to give one to Yuga someday. Then we see the time when Yuga came running into Ayato's room when her little sister got killed, and then Ayato had to see Yuga getting devoured by devils again. In the final floor, we get to see things we have yet to see and experience. The future. There is allies, which we fought before. There is Sonoda warning you to be careful about someone. Then comes Namida asking you if you love her. And then you hear someone claiming to be your father calling you son. Seshiro will tell you there is devil called Ose in hell. Then you see Watanabe changing into Baru Hatato, which is weird. And then you see the devil called Marudoku, and it will ask you to help him escape from his seal. If you walk some more, you will come face to face with your doppelganger and fight with it. After defeating it, go even deeper and you will see Yuga's vision. She will tell you to revive Goshiki Fudos. Yoshinohime will call you back after that, and when you open your eyes, you are back to real world, lying on the lap of Yoshinohime. Even after looking deep into Ayato's heart, she still can't tell what's so special about Ayato, but she feels she can leave the future of this world to Ayato, so she gave Kagome no Monsho, which I will simply translate it as a crest of Kagome. Next, we go to the Asakusa subway building. You can shop here for even better equipment and collect info among them. You will hear something about making a god offering, which can be made by combining Mira and Sakaki, aka Evergreen, which are said to be sacred to Shinto shrine in Japan. If you have both items, stand under the Torii gate, and it is said that a gate to another dimension will open. Too much mystery for my liking. Now where to go from here? If you have talked to the monk from Kishimojin before, he will tell you something about the sound of Kagome. Surely Kishimojin has something to do with the crest of Kagome we got from Yoshino, so let's go there. According to the sound of Kagome, we need to enter this place during full moon phase. Then you will find a tiny shrine, so inside the crest of Kagome you got from Yoshinohime, and a gate leading to hyperspace will open. Go straight towards the room and you will find Haridi. By the way, Kishimojin literally translates as Mother Goddess of Devil Child and Haridi in English. She is in distress because Baeru stole her child, Biankara, and hidden away. Without him, she cannot escape from this hyperspace, so she asks Ayato to go save her child, and then she will give you pomegranate ceramic bell and tell you to use it on Biankara to bring him back to his normal self. Here's a little story about Haradi. She was a yaksha, aka demonic warrior who eats children. Then when she had Biankara, she ate 500 children to gain the energy to give birth to her own child. Then as a punishment, a Buddhism god, Sakyamuni, hid her child to be never seen again. Only then she started to understand the feeling of losing one's own child, and then she stopped eating children from other people ever again. She turned into a new leaf and becomes a goddess of childbirth. But she still have to deal with the hunger, so Sakyamuni gave her pomegranate, which is said to taste like human flesh. And thus, pomegranate ceramic bell that we got from her is actually a reference to it. It causes blind status effect when you use it in battle, as in Haradi losing her child in the story, and so it symbolizes blindness. Pretty good when you think about this game can go into details like that. I don't know about you guys, but playing Megami games makes me want to learn more about Japanese history and appreciate them. Based on what Haradi told us, Millennium Head Temple is where Biankara is, so let's head there. When you reach 4th floor, equip the Guardian set that you bought from Jang Sailor's shop at Akihabara building and walk towards the Guardian that stand guard in front of the locked door. They see you through your disguise and will attack, so defeat them. Enter the password you got from the dying guy from Ueno Temple. The code is 49702, and now you can reach the topmost part of this head temple. Head straight to 7th floor. Enter the big room inside and you will find Midoriya, who people seem to call the Savior. He is surprised to see Ayato here on the top floor. Midoriya is together with Headpriest. Headpriest then tells Midoriya to head inside the room and said to take care of Ayato himself. Although reluctant, he put all his trust on Headpriest and left. Headpriest called Ayato the man who is loved by Ishtar and the one who deceived Astarte. I can understand the Ishtar part, but where does deceiving Astarte comes from? Headpriest then changed into his true form, bare figure, sloughed off 7 deadly sins, and attacked us. As always, I use Vista and Shisa Tarugaja combo to raise my attack twice a turn and slowly cheat his health away. He can summon a mini black hole that can reflect attacks back at you, so watch out for that. And after he is dead, Midoriya will come out his room and rage and turn into Biankara, son of Haradi. Instead of fighting him, use pomegranate ceramic bell that Haradi gave us, and then he will come back to his sense like she told you. Piankara will thank us for bringing him back to sense again and give you Yada no Kagami. It can be used as an item to reflect various attacks back at enemy and has an unlimited use. And also, it is one of the 3 godly items which you can get in this game, the other 2 being Kusanagi no Tsurugi and Yasaki no Magatama, which you might have heard this one before from Kizaru in One Piece. Now go back to hyperspace together with Piankara. Harati will thank you and give you Kala Vajra, a weapon which is used to purify impure devils and say it has a power to transcend time and space or whatever that means. Then Piankara will ask if you can join the party after your conversation with Harati. I mean, why not? Free devil? Let's go. Though I hope Harati won't be mad if I use a child as a fusion material later in the game. Next, we are going to Gokokuji Temple. This is the place where we have to make the offering to God. You need to have Yagata no Kami you got from Piankara and Sakaki from Togo Shinto Shrine. Then a gate to another dimension will open under the Tori Gate. Enter there and now you are in the hell. Before you do anything, Namida will lead you to what seems like a room inside first shelter, and there you will have vision from past when you sleep with Yuga that night, but now instead, Namida will initiate first and push you onto the bed, and then they buck. That comes out of nowhere, but okay. Here you meet with Hasuseo no Mikoto, state your name and he will recognize you as someone who is a one-man army fighting against Baeru alone. Then Okuni Nushi will appear and ask you to defeat Ose, who seem to be growing stronger by day, absorbing the souls of the dead, especially after the great catastrophe. He also stole Kusanagi no Tsurugi from Okuni Nushi, one of the godly items, so I need to go and retrieve it. And if he did, Okuni Nushi promised to let him keep Kusanagi no Tsurugi. Oh boy, can't wait to get my hand on it. It is 2-floor dungeons with dark zone, turntable, invisible wall and one-way doors. It is short and sweet, so much for a hell. Then you fight with Ose. You can defeat Ose with simple sword fight. And also in this game, it appears you can use recon spell not only to revive the dead but also to heal in this game, which is even cost effective than any other healing spells. Just like back when fresh water is more cost efficient than super potion. After you defeat Ose, head back to Okuni Nushi, and now you are officially the owner of Kusanagi no Tsurugi. 2 down, 1 more to go. Next is Yasagani no Magatama. But where do I find it? Back in Shinda Underground City, we heard about mutants living in Riverside Colosseum. So go there, and when you get near to it, a voice will eventually call to you, inviting you to come to Riverside Colosseum. Then a temporary bridge will be made just for you, so cross that bridge and you will get to Riverside Colosseum. We got a little story about mutants here. First of all, they are ugly. And second of all, they look inhuman, so they are the beings that got shunned by society as well as their own parents. So with no place to go, they seek Shinda, where normal mutants live, and another being this place, Riverside Colosseum, where they were all taken in by the mutant god Hiruko, where they all get enlightened. Hiruko is essentially revered as a godlike being for mutants, just like Louis Cypher was to mutant in Shinda. The god says Hiruko will only see those who have won the Colosseum, so go do that quick and meet with Hiruko. Hiruko will tell you that he was expecting to see what the owner of 2 godly items looks like, and so he invited us here to give us the last item, Yasakani no Magatama. And then Degabria suddenly appeared and dropped a nuke inside the room, immediately killing off Hiruko in the process. You got a split second to go after Degabria, so jump into the light and not the explosion. After that, you will reach a room inside Baeru Court's headquarters where Degabria is in, so defeat him. Megiddo seems to be affected here as it gives off 500 plus damage, another easy fight. After defeating Degabria, you got Yuga's left leg. By the way, Yasakani no Magatama has the effect that when equipped, you heal as you walk, so it's a nice item to be equipped at all times. And it also seems to have a bug where it keeps healing even way past your max HP, which will make you have 1000 plus HP even though your real max HP is 800. So hey, don't mind if I do. Now with 3 godly items in hand, we can now enter Takamagahara, where heavenly deities reside. Make your way back to Togo Shinto Shrine, where you got Sakaki. Now go down the hole and you will enter the underground cave below the Shinto Shrine. You need to catch Shimenawa, which you see commonly in Japanese shrine, and they are said to act as barrier of salt. You need Kusanagi no Tsurugi specifically to cut them, so equip it if you haven't already to proceed further. In the next room, you will see tons of dead spirits who can seem to pass on to the next life, because the rock tied with yet another Shimenawa is blocking the way. Cut the rope and move the rock out of the way. To move the rock, you need to have a devil which have 25 plus points in strength for this. Now with the rock out of the way, the spirit can now move forward, and so do you as you head inside Takamagahara. You are here to meet with the sun goddess Amaterasu here. She will drop you sun law on heavenly deities and earthly deities. Essentially, they are not on a good term with each other, as it will only get worse as time goes by. Long story short, Amaterasu asks you to act as an intermediate to bring peace between these two deities in times like this in order to protect Japan. Hebrew gods and Japanese gods joining forces together to protect Japan against the Devil King Bairu. That is an epic shit that I live for. She even let Yamato Takeru to help us with negotiation, but well, too bad. I forgot to do the entire thing and proceed the game without relaying the message to early deities back at Riverside Colosseum for the rest of the game. So RIP Yamato Takeru, you are mine now. Although I hope things goes well between those two deities. You need to enter Tokyo Tower on full moon phase in order to proceed the story, then climb all the way to the 8th floor. It's just a series of stairs. There you will fight with Damuzu and Itohaka. After that, enter the room and you'll be sent to Bado, a place that exists between life and death. By using Kala Vajra you got from Hadidi. Bado is a one giant mess of 10 tables, warp zones and one-way doors. There is one thing you need to do here now if you want to get the strongest sword in this game, at least according to the game manual. Among 4 fountains here in this floor, go to the fountains you see right after you've passed the series of 10 tables, and equip and throw your Kusanagi no Tsurugi into the fountain, then you will get a 10 Murakumo, a stronger version of Kusanagi no Tsurugi. You can only do that now as you cannot come back here after you get out from this place. And in this dungeon, you will have to fight with what I think second most difficult boss of this game, Baru Hadado. It took me 30 minutes to beat this guy. One battle might seem long, don't give up, because there is another one even worse than this. Now about Baru Hadado. We've seen the vision back at Ohana Mansion where we see Watanabe, the leader of Pentagrammas, change it to Baru Hadado, right? Yeah, so apparently he got killed and Baru Hadado shapeshift into Watanabe. So like, it is suffice to say, there is a high possibility that the corpse we saw lying with his face down might even be a Watanabe. After defeating Baru Hadado, let's do a bit of backtracking before we head to the next location. Go back to Ohana Mansion and throw your 10 Murakumo into the fountain. There you will have to fight with Harden D, who wants your sword, so beat his ass, enter again and throw your 10 Murakumo into the fountain to get a Fusuno Mitama, an even better version of 10 Murakumo. You will only see children inside this place, and among them, there is one boy who is regarded as their leader. Though being not the oldest, he is the smartest kid. The name is Cheetah. He has the same name as the son of Nishino, doesn't he? Most of the children here are talking about devil called Marudoku, and that he is the one who is protecting all the children here by building a barrier around this place. Go meet with Marudoku, and you will see that he recognizes you, like he has known you for a long time. And of course, it is Nishino. He told us that after he got separated from Tatsuya and Emi, he started hearing a voice telling him he is the reincarnation of Marudoku. Apparently, the more experience he gathered throughout his life, the stronger his next reincarnation will be. But Nishino unfortunately got an untimely death, getting his heart ripped off by some devil, so Marudoku has no choice but to step in and revive Nishino and be reincarnated as a somewhat weaker devil than what he wanted to be. So Nishino was able to retain both his memory from his past life as well as the power of Marudoku. You could say Nishino was very lucky, because otherwise he could be fully overtaken by Marudoku, losing Nishino forever. Our brief union got cut short when a voice we are all so familiar with appeared again. It is Yamase. This is one hell of a reunion we are having right here. He says the barrier, although was strong, it is specifically made for devils, so human like himself can enter as he please. And thus he was dispatched by the Devil King himself to attack this place. as Marutoku has become a bit of an eyesore to Baeru. Just when he was about to summon the devil inside this place, he then recognized Marutoku as Nishino and got kind of freaked out for a good minute. Yamase really been showing some of his human emotion for once. Then he quickly tries to summon his devil, and at the same time, an arrow from Marutoku pierced right through his heart, and so Yamase is no more. In his dying last word, he told us that he regret ever being born into this era. Then he told Ayato and Marutoku that he will be waiting for us in hell. From Yamase's summoning comes out Ramashoot. Good thing it saved me trouble and time from finding you, so thanks. Here I realized reducing enemies' defense is way better than trying to increase your attack stats. I was doing like 50 damage to her, but after I reduced her defense like one time, I was doing 300 plus damage. Like, Rakunda is way too OP in this game. But to be fair, it was only on some bosses. Marutoku also joined our party, and when I check his stat, I see him wearing a full set of armor and a Hojo cane, which in my opinion is the strongest sword in this entire game. It has an average damage of 100 and hits like 6 to 7 times per attack. It is actually very crazy. Really though, I think this sword is very broken. After defeating Ramashoot once, she will see Marutoku away, so before that happens, remember to strip every single item from Marutoku and equip it to your devil. Marutoku will ask you to help him break his sea, but that's the story for the next game. Now Ramashoot will send out 2 dogs, Half Moon and Full Moon, to attack us. Defeat them and we got to fight Ramashoot again for the second time. I love this 3-phase boss fight. It was very fun seeing big number pop up on the screen constantly. Life is pretty simple if you think about it. Big numbers equal fun equal enjoying Megatan games. After we defeat Ramashoot for good, we will get Yuga's chest, and then Cheetah will appear to say a proper farewell to Marutoku, thanking him for protecting them until now, and then turns toward Ayato and entrusts the sea to him. When you try to leave the place, shrine maidens from Mother Venus will appear and then forcefully take you to their temple right in front of Shizuna. She's the follower of Ishtar, so reviving her is supposed to be their top priority. But then she will lose her son in the progress, so she has been puzzling over this for the longest time, but finally comes to a conclusion that she ain't letting her son be a sacrifice. So she decides to just kill off Ayato as he was trying to find paths to revive Ishtar back. Meaning, the assault from Baeru's soldier back then was all because of Shizuna's all along. But her son took notice of us, and so she wasn't able to finish it off for good at that time. But there's no turning back, as we are only a few more parts away from completely reviving Ishtar, so it's now or never. She then calls the name of the devil, Ashirato, and attacks us. Defeating Ashirato gives her Yuga's abdomen, so we now only need the head of Yuga. Shizuna then falls to her knees, but Ayato decides to forgive her even after all of this, and leave the room without saying a thing. On the way, Ayato meets Kazusa, and he says he had a vision of Yuga one night, and she told him that he was not the Handa god that he thought he was, but Ayato. And he wasn't also aware of the fact that his mother was going so far even as to seek protection from devil like Ashirato, and was planning to kill Ayato all along. Kazusa then promised Ayato that he won't be assaulted anymore in the future as his mother no longer has devil backing her. That was a series of events that just went down back to back. Now let's chill down for a bit and do something else. Throughout this game, based on the information we've gathered way back at Episode Garden about statues without eyeballs and that Yuga vision we saw from Ohana Mansion, we are about to do just that. Based on the name Goshiki Fudo, which literally translates to 5 color and movable statues, it is supposed to be a total of 5 statues, but as far as I can see on the map, there is only 4, so let's do what we can do for now. Just like back in Otakyu Haruku, where you have to master the Morpheus mechanic, here you have to literally master this map to get to each Goshiki Fudos. Each statue needs 2 gems to insert. Hopefully you've been saving up some gems, white for diamond, black for onyx, yellow for topaz, and red for ruby, respectively. After visiting 4 Fudos, go meet Ringai at Gokokuji Temple. Then he will transport you to the last Fudo. It needs a blue one, so you are going to need Sapphire here. But you need to re-enter each statue again for him to activate each Fudos. Good thing, every exit acts as a warp zone in this event, so you don't need to travel around Tokyo all over again. Now with Fudo's eye being restored, all barriers no longer works. So Rinkai says, if you want to strike Byaru, now is the time. When you leave, a messenger from Shibuya will contact you. Because of us activating food doors and disabling barriers, devil have came to invade them, so we need to go save them ASAP. Responsibility comes first, I guess. Go to the third floor and find Murakusu and meet with Gabriel. He will let you ask 3 questions per playthrough. These questions are very important to the story, so I can make a video without knowing the answers to each question, so I'll just look up online to see the rest of the answers. To summarize everything, it goes like this. Ayato was a hunter god in his previous life, and he was also Susanoo, who defeated Yamato no Orochi, and was loved by Ishida. Both Ayato and Byaru were souls offered to Ishida, and Ayato has a part of Byaru's soul in him. So if Ayato died and Byaru retrieved his soul back, Byaru will grow stronger. It was determined by gods that every time Ishida got reincarnated, Byaru has to die for her. So what Byaru does to prevent that is he have Yuga parts all torn and devoured by his devils, only leaving Yuga's head alone, keeping Yuga in a state of constant regeneration without ever letting her die. If one were to gather all of her parts again, Yuga will be revived. Now about Ishida, she was a goddess of sex, but her self-defeating behavior led to many battles with God at one point, which God herself killed and have her soul split into 2 parts. The lustrous part of her soul went to hell to become Astarte, and her pure and lovingly soul went to earth to become Yuga. In other words, Yuga is a good reincarnation of Ishida and Astarte is a bad reincarnation of Ishida. Finally about Ayato, he is by no means a messiah. He was only born into this world to do his part, which is to make a groundwork for a real messiah to save this world. But as for what that part is, even great angels like Gabriel doesn't even know. So it is all on Ayato and his decision alone. Then Gabriel will stop the conversation, he will put up the barrier and just remain there for the rest of the game to protect Shibuya. Or at least until I defeat Byaru. With that, we finally enter the final part of the game. Off we go to the Byaru castle. Head to the 3rd floor, take the north elevator to 45th floor. From there you can proceed further into Byaru castle. Then Namida will lead you the way as she seems to know the layout of the castle well. So follow her until you reach the 8th floor of this dungeon. Enter the room and there you will find the final part of Yuga, her head. Pick it up and now let's get the hell out of this room. But not before we see our old enemy again. It's Dandelion. This is the final time you will see them. So beat him quickly and return to your room in Ochanomizu's shelter where you've been storing Yuga's parts. Ayato noticed some of Yuga's parts are now rotting, so we need to go to Ichigaya's shelter and meet with Kusaka to restore it back to its normal state. So yeah, it was entirely pointless to get that room after all. I should have just left the parts with Kusaka right from the start. And now with Yuga restored, Namida will leave the party for good this time, saying farewell to us and says we will meet again soon. Yuga is back, but she still don't have a heart. Also, she is in a comatose state, yet she is still alive somehow. We can't keep her in this condition forever now, can we? So we need to hurry up and retrieve her heart somehow. There is only one place left to search for, and it is Byaru Castle. Now we can get the strongest sword of this game, but you need to take the stairs instead of taking the elevator. As soon as you enter the castle, you will have one final fight with Adonis, then move on to 6th floor. There you will meet with Namida again. She will tell you Yuga won't revive unless Ayato kills her, as she has the heart of Yuga, then change into Astarte. Here you will have to choose 2 routes of this game. If your alignment has been neutral up until this point, it will enter an entirely different route no matter what your choice is here. But otherwise, decide who will you choose, Yuga or Namida. Guys, I have a confession. I'm a weeb and I play Megaten games. For you to understand my preference in anime waifu, I want to tell you my favorite waifu from all the anime I have consumed my entire life. So to name a few, Chitoge from Nisekoi, Winry from Fullmetal Alchemist, Madame President from Golden Boy, Himiko from Platoon, Amane Misa from Death Note, Himeko from Skate Dance, Shinobu from Monogatari series, and finally, no one from Evangelion. Sorry, I just had to say it. So what I'm trying to make a point is, I love blonde waifus, which Yuga just happened to be blonde too, so I chose her. Easy, right? Nah, just kidding. I just didn't want to choose Namida since she has obviously killed both Tatsuya and Nishino, since they were both killed without their hearts, which is a huge giveaway as it is already. Ain't no way I'm choosing her over Yuka. So I chose Yuka, right? Then I thought I had to fight Namida, but no. She took the heart out by herself willingly and dies, as she can't just bring herself to fight Ayato, the one she loved, even if it cost her life. Shit. Now that I think about it, she's been in our party for the longest time, helping me out more than any other members. And that time when she gave us food at Yogi concentration camp, now I feel bad for not choosing her. But then I remember those fun times we had back in 5th shelter together with Yuka too. Seriously, I have spent way too much time with both of these characters within this game than any other members, which make it even harder to make decisions in this moment, as choosing one means killing another. I mean, what's the right decision even means in this case? In the end, I decided to just go with my gut feeling and chose Yuka. So now, let's just keep moving forward. Moments like this ain't good for my heart, you know. But hey, at least we got another party member. Yuka was transformed into Ishtar, a powerful devil, which is actually a pretty decent late game devil, and she will join our party. Now that we have moved from the most difficult part of the game, we need to prepare one last time and get the strongest sword in this game. Throw your Fusuno Mitama into the fountain on 6th floor and finally get Hironobu Sakaguchi. I mean Hinokagasuchi. Though the game says this sword is the strongest, I still think Hojo no Ken is way better than Hinokagasuchi. We still have one last devil to defeat before we enter the boss room. It's Murumuru. Defeat him quick, and finally at long last, we meet with Bayaru in his strongest form. Bayaru will call you his son and try to persuade Ishtar to come to his side, but Ishtar refuses to leave Ayato's side, and with that the final battle begins. This final boss has everything. He got spells that can return all your devils back to your arm terminal. He can remove your MP. He can hit like a truck and has tons of HP. I keep chipping his HP bit by bit, and it took me like 30 minutes, and when I thought I was about to defeat this guy, the game crashes. Okay, so that's the end of Giten Megami Tensei, and see you in the next video. No, really. I really thought of abandoning this game as it is, but it doesn't make me feel like I've beaten this game at all, so I braved myself and resumed from my last save point and haul my ass all the way to the top of the castle again. Ain't no way I ain't give it up after all the time I've given to complete this game without properly beating it. This time I defeat Bayaru for good. Thank God, it took me entire morning to fight this guy. After Bayaru dies, he turns into the frog. Then he will ask you to become the next Devil King, but Ayato refuses it of course. Then he asks you if you could at least give him the final blow with his sword. Ayato refused that too, and instead squashed the frog under his feet. And there it is guys. You just witnessed the end of the round of devils. After the fight, the game will reward you with a beautiful CG of Ayato and Yuka staring at each other, as they wonder where will all these events lead to. But one thing they know for certain is that they will never be separated again, and their love will be eternal this time. I honestly can't believe I have finally finished this game. It was a really difficult video to make, especially with the 40+ hour game full on Japanese. But man, do I feel honored to cover Giten Megami Tensei for you guys, and also for me as well, since I do have quenched my thirst for curiosity with this game. I hope I have now contributed something to Megaten community. So now about the game. It being a Japanese only game is one thing, but even if you were able to read Japanese, playing this game is still difficult for the most part without a proper guide. I mean, you can play without a guide, but if you do that, you might face a couple of bugs that will literally break the game, like making you replay the entire dungeon, like it happened to me a couple of times during my playthrough, so save pretty often. This game is pretty much unstable and unpolished in that respect, but the story and world building was interesting enough for me to keep playing. And now to answer the question of the day, do I recommend playing this game? I say yes to hardcore gamers out there. This is definitely one experience to be had, but you need a certain level of commitment which most of us don't unfortunately, except from hardcore gamers. If you are still here, I would like to thank you for giving your time and watching this video till the end. Hope you had a great time. If you didn't, I am genuinely going to feel really bad for wasting your time. I'm sorry. As always guys, have a wonderful day. I'm Woody Monster and I will see all of you guys again in the next video. Bye bye.